Welcome to the Totally Awesome Fishing Show. We're down here in deepest Hampshire, just on the edge of the New Forest, and I'm at a place called Rockbourne Trout Fishery. They've got a series of nice lakes here, very tranquil setting, very quiet, almost manicured like the Augusta golf course. Very, very nice little place. And they've also got a stream. A portion of this stream is fishable on a day ticket, which is very unusual. It's gin clear. Probably be a bit tough. I'm going to talk to Peter, the owner, now. He's going to give you a bit of an insight into what it's all about.
We're at Rockbourne Trout Fishery. We have the 6 lakes. They're all manicured and looking well and fishing very well. We have a tributary of a chalk stream down through the woods, Sweatford water. We spent a lot of time clearing it and getting it back to its former glory. We've cut some trees to let the light in so the weed can come up for the trout. We've got just under a mile of it. Yeah, it's single bank fishing all the way down through the land. The springs come up in the wood, and the largest spring is over a few acres over the fields, which feed the Sweatford water. Eventually it goes into the River Avon. We've put deflectors in to speed the stream up to get rid of the silt which forms on the bottom, and there's plenty of weed growing now, and it seems to be coming on as a very good fishery now. Through the year there's a lot of mayfly hatch and sedges and what have you, all the natural insects, so there's a lot of rises on the river, and very good for dry fly fishing. So we have the wild resident browns in the river, quite a few now, but we do supplement it with stocky browns, which the fishermen are allowed to take a brace when they come on, and the rest of the fish is catch and release. There are also a few roach in the river system and the odd pike. Occasionally through the autumn the odd sea trout is seen in the stream coming up to breed, and sometimes a salmon coming up from the River Avon. We prefer dry fly fishing on the river, but when it's really difficult, like in the sun, a nymph we allow you to fish with nymphs to catch your fish. It fishes all day, and you don't necessarily have to wait till the evening, and a lot of people who do fish there come up and have a meal or something through the day and go back in the afternoon. Yeah, we also do corporate days for the fishery and everything, and we do food, and we do sell tackle all through the year. The only day we're closed is Christmas Day, so come on down and have a go. As well as the river, we have the 6 lakes, which we do catch and keep. And the other best thing about it is that we swap smoked trout for your fish, so you don't have to take your fish if you don't want them. That works out very well for the fishermen. In the six lakes we've got, so we stock from 3, 4 up to double figures, and I think that the biggest one caught last month was 14 pounds. So yes, the fish do go to a fair size, and everybody seems to enjoy it. We do hold stock fish which we bring on, and every day the fishery is stocked as the fish come out, so everybody's got a chance to catch the fish. Yeah, the lakes are perfect if you like stalking. We have a lot of trees around the lake, so it's ideal for stalking, especially the browns under the trees, and a lot of people prefer that way. But obviously some of the lakes are quite open, so you can each way fish as well.
Well, I'm down here at the bottom end of this tiny stream. It is small. A huge amount of work's been done here, because I fished this, I want to say 35 years ago, maybe 40 years ago. In fact, used to keep a caravan just up the road all year round and fish down here as and when I could. It's been, well, a voyage of discovery for me, because when I first fished it, say 30, 40 years ago, you could barely get down the bottom end of this little stream, but I always saw wild fish there, and it was tantalising me. I couldn't quite get in there. You could barely cast. And in fact, now at this bottom end, well, they've done a super job clearing it. It's nooks, crannies, holes, like jungle fishing. It's not so much a cast as more flicking a fly in there, or even lowering it in a pool and following it through. I feel a nymph dry fly is going to be out because I cannot get any distance from the fish. I've got to be quite close to them. It's going to be tough. It's low water, it's summer, it's hard, but I'm determined to try and catch you guys something and at least show you this is small stream fishing for trout in England. Before I start fishing, a couple of tips, totally awesome trout fishing tips. You might have a net like this that's folded, and then you just press a button, a little release here, and it flips up and it even extends. Now generally I would like to put these on my side of my leg by my belt here and clip it on, but because I'm going to be walking through some sort of snaggy areas where brambles are, I find when I'm doing small stream fishing like this, just clip it right on the back of your belt. Okay, it might clonk a bit when you walk along, but it's out of the way of the brambles because you're walking through the brambles and stuff first. Tackle, so all you guys out there want to know what tackle I'm using? Just a small 8-foot trout fishing rod with a cork handle. It says it's called a Target Plus. I'm not going to mention the make, never did me any favours. It's just 8 feet and it throws a 4-weight line. Now when I say 4-weight, to those who don't go fly fishing, the weight of the line is here. Remember, you're just casting a fly. There's no lead, there's no sinker, there's no lure, there's no float. The actual casting weight is in the thickness and the weight, the density of this fly line. So I've got fly line on there which helps send the fly out over the water, although in this case at the bottom end of the fishery I'm going to be basically just jiggling and poking the fly anywhere I can to get it in front of a trout. It's a small, what would that be, look, about 3-inch across diameter reel. It's called a Wickham, and just as a point of interest, if you have 2 or 3 spools, it might pay you, like this one, just to mark each line like that with a little sticker. See the little sticker there? Weight forward F, that means WF 4. So it's weight forward, 4 weight, because it's a 4-weight rod. That's the AFTMA rating of the fly line, and the F at the end means floating. So that way you don't get mixed up. You might have an intermediate spool of line, a neutral density one. You might have a slow sink. You probably wouldn't have a fast sink with a tiny little buggy whip rod like this. But most important, on rivers like this and streams, you really want a floating line because you're only going to be getting down about 6 or 8 inches. The leader will be sinking. Flies, I'm using a goldhead, tiny goldhead damsel fly there. Really the goldhead just to give me a bit of sinking weight, because in this current, although there's not much current, I've got to get down in front of those fish. They're not going to come roaring after it, I feel. I've got 5-pound nylon straight through. I'm not using a tapered leader. I've just joined it to the end of the fly line up here. The length of the rod. Now, because of the casting restrictions, I may have to reduce that even more, down to even 4 feet or 5 feet. I shan't be casting until I get into a more open area. Let's just check out some of these lower water runs and just see if I can at least get one trout to turn to the fly. Okay, another little totally awesome tip before we start. A long peak cap, if you can, a pair of polarizing glasses, an absolute must. It prevents a fly going in your eye on the back cast, but it allows you to shut down the glare on the top of the water and hopefully see through the water. This is gin cleared chalk stream. You think you can see the trout, trust me, they can see you, no question. Another little tip, if you keep this down nice and low, it shuts out as much of the light as possible from up here. But if you also walk along and you're looking for the fish first, don't just start flailing away. Spot the fish, get your position, try and target it, locate it by just cupping your hands around like this. You can look right into the water. It shuts out what we call peripheral, don't ask me to spell it, peripheral vision through the side here, and that allows, because it's dark, it allows your pupil to dilate, lets more information in there, and you can definitely see the fish. Of course, when you go like this, you better watch where the fish is, because as soon as you take your hands away, your vision changes and it gets bright again. So for spotting fish, cup your hands around. I've done a lot of barbel fishing over the last 30, 40 years. The only way to see the fish is cup your hands over. Now then, spotting these trout can be quite tricky, because when it's flowing, you get a lot of ripply areas. you can't see through there. You cannot see too well. If it's flat and slick and nice and smooth and still, you can generally see the fish just laying there, absolutely dead, what they call lying on station. It's waiting for food to come past its nose. It could come up and it could be a dry fly, it could be a nymph or a shrimp, corrects anything coming past it, and it takes it on that level. It rarely moves too far off of that lying on station business. So you need to find the fish. Don't just walk past some pools and think, oh, there's nothing in there. I mean, stare into the pool, because sooner or later you will find one and go, is there a fish down there? Look for things like pectoral fins, ventral fins, the little bit of movement in the tail. It's all it takes is this. It just takes this. Or you might even see it come up, move, take a fly and come back down again. You've got to watch all those things so you know exactly where the trout is. Do not walk through too quickly, because you will probably walk past and spook trout. Now then, you normally would fish a stream or river upstream walking up. The fish are facing upstream. Therefore, if you start at the top of the fishery and you walk down, the chances are that fish will see you silhouetted against the sky or the background, bolt downstream. That's a bad thing, isn't it? We all see that's a bad thing. Worse, it's a bad thing in a tiny stream like this, because when he bolts downstream, he would go crashing through the others for 10 or 20 yards further downstream. They're all on put. They're all on major alert, aren't they? They're all, aware. Hang on, why is that guy come rocketing? Where the hell's he gone past? What's coming down that we should know about? So try not to spook the fish. Don't start at the top and walk down. Walk down this way, because if they're facing upstream and you're careful, you can get up behind them and not spook them. Look, trust me, this is so shallow and clear. I'm going to spook trout anyway. That's a taken as a given. Let's move on. Right, well, you remember when we were interviewing Peter up there, he was saying that they've put in little barriers that they've made, and these are made from sort of wicker and stakes, and that's to speed up the current, to remove silt. Sometimes changes of directional flow can actually move that silt through and reveal the clean gravel underneath, which is what the fish want. They don't really want the mud, they want clean gravel. I can see that right here. There's a nice little natural barrier that's been made there, 2 stakes and some wicker work. It's just boosted that current just enough to clean the gravel. Well, I've just moved upstream and I've seen my first wild trout, because the bottom half of this fish is almost split into 2 sections. The bottom half is nearly all wild fish, and they're going to be tricky, and the top half, they got some few stocked and wild. It's a mix there. So I'm guessing with these conditions my better chance is going to be up the top end. But what happens here is I've got a nice clear gravel patch, and then I've got a deep dark pool on a bend that there used to be a weir there years ago, and I can remember this. There always was a good fish hanging in that weir. They've removed the weir to help the flow, to clean the gravel now. I wonder if it's still there. Not the same fish. It'll be 102 pounds by now, Graeme. Talk sense. I wonder if that hole still holds a fish. Let's take a look. Another tip, guys. If you're coming up, try and use a tree as a screen between you and the fish, and just peep around the edge of the tree. It's a good way of stopping them spotting you. It might just give you a chance, and you can always lean around the tree and cast at that fish. So any trees, any shrubs like that, see if you can use them as a screen and just block that fish's view. Couple more tips. If you haven't used your fly line for a long time, it's going to have some line memory in the fly line then. It goes all curly like this. If you just take it out and just hold it and just gently stretch it like this, take that line memory out of it, and you should find you'll get a better cast next time round. Also up here, there's a really tight bend, which is going right round the outside, and that's going to mean a change in pace. Faster current on the outside, slower on the inside. I expect to see silt on the inside settled, maybe on the other side a nice deeper sort of dark run. Another classic spot, unfortunately we've got a pump or something running over there, I assume to oxygenate the water, I don't know. Another classic spot is right by this tree. There's a bit of a bend, but also it's scoured out by the tree roots to be there blocking the flow, and it'll tumble over the water, get rid of that silt, and there could be a big fish just laying, I say a big fish, any fish, just laying down by those tree roots. Don't neglect the edges where trees enter the water. Well guys, I just went over the top of the rushes trying to see a little static, looked like a wild brownie about this big. As I made the cast, a humongous rainbow came into view. Very, very spooky, kept coming up to the fly. I couldn't cast again before I got one cast. If I cast again, he's going to see my arm movement. Because the light's right behind me, I must be silhouetted there. I'm going to work my way out past these rushes. I feel he's going to be in there somewhere. If I can blip this fly just anywhere near close to him without spooking, I might be in with a shout. When you're stalking big fish like this, or indeed any fish, I just like to keep, for short casting, the length there of the leader to the fly, which I've actually shortened because I've been snagging the branches on the back cast. Keep it quite short so I can just roll cast. I'm going to get one shot of the fly and minimising the false casting in the air, which might just spook them. Hey, that's just my tip, that's how I fish. Guys, I've just seen that big one again. I'm just going to ease the camera up there. I daren't get too close to spook it. He's going to see me almost for sure. I'm not sure if you can see him through there. He's going over towards those bushes. I'm going to put the camera out. Oh, there's another one. It's an even nicer looking fish. Look at that one. Is that a brown or rainbow? Cruising under the trees there. Look at that. I'd say that back one is feeding. The trouble is, which one do I go for? Either way, in this clarity of these conditions and still with minimal flow, I've probably got an excellent chance of spooking and screwing up both. Fish on, guys, fish on. Oh my God, it's a big one. Holy cow. Oh my God, like he's in a snake. Don't go through the rushes. Oh, he's going to go through the rushes. We'll be in the water with it in a minute. I know you're going to see this, guys, because there's an excellent chance we're going to lose it. I'm going to try and film and fight the fish at the same time. Can anybody else do this? Hang on. Hang on, people. Whew. There's the fish. My God, he's absolutely buckled this foreweight. Absolutely hooped it. Absolutely hooped it over. It's a big fish. It's a big, looks like an escapee rainbow or something. Oh man alive, who would have thought that was in this small stream like this? See if we can get him in the net. Man alive. Big fish. Oh no, he's out. Just a quick one to look at this, guys. Very quickly. A rainbow, got to be the best part of £5. An incredible fish, riding amongst those wild ones. What a beauty. But guys, what a fabulous fish that was on a light rain. It bent it double. And that's what you're here for, a bit of sport fishing. The ironic thing was, although the big one was there, a nice brownie. Now this sounds really daft, doesn't it? You catch a great big rainbow like that, but it's the wild brownies that you really want in England. That's the traditional English fish. Great to catch that rainbow, but a brownie was coming up about £1.5 pounds behind it. It had amazing markings. It was like a swimming painting. Maybe I'll get lucky on my way further upstream. There's a fly that did the job, that little gold-haired damsel, and just up here, I think I've died and gone to fishy heaven. There's a pool there. It's just probably no more than 6 inches or so deeper than the rest of the stream, but it's holding, I reckon, 4 big rainbows and a couple of browns in there. Whether I can creep up on them enough, I don't know. They're just zooming around there, but I'll tell you what, they're 4 pound plus fish. In this tiny stream with this lightweight outfit, I'm going to have my work cut out trying to get a fly to them, hook them and land them. I've got a brownie. I've got a brownie, guys. I'm not going to take this one on the reel, I'm going to keep it. I'm pretty sure it's a wild brownie. What? I'm going to net this one quick in case he falls off. We might not be able to show you another one. Spin the camera, probably be crooked, but hey ho. You get what you get, guys, in a totally awesome fishing show, trout or otherwise. Oh, this is what it's about, people. This is what it's about. Oh, he followed it for absolutely ages. Is that not a pretty English fish? Look at the tail. It's wild. Look at the adipose film, the little red on it. Beautiful markings on it. There's that little damselfly in the corner of his mouth. I'm going to get this straight back. Really, if I was catching and releasing, I should be using wet hands. My fault, sorry, Mr. Fish. But you know what, we've got to show the folks on YouTube. Yes, we can catch big trout on 4 weights. We can also catch wild brownies in small streams as well. Lovely, lovely fish. As English as you could make it. Jesus, that was a tank. I thought he swallowed it. Here he comes, here he comes, here he comes, here he comes. Get on, buddy. That's a good fish. That's what it's about, people. This little rod in a little stream in England, eh? Beautiful. It's going to take me downstream. It's going to take me downstream in the rushes. It's going to take me downstream. Oh no. He's not happy, folks. He's not happy. He's not happy. Oh geez, right under that weed patch. Right on the other side. Still stripping me. Come on, turn. Holy cow, he's a thrasher. He's bringing an entire branch downstream with him, this guy, I think. This is a nice fish. Big rainbow. Oh, don't go down there. Don't go down there. Don't go down there. Why these nets never work when you want them to? It's rusty solid. having had such a great fight on that light rod, I was into trying to spot some more little pools. You only need a few inches deeper water and those trout would be lying on them. And it wasn't too long before I hooked up again. Buried in the weeds, guys. Might have lost this one. Might have lost this one. No, I've got him out. Holy cow. Well, I've had a great session on that first half. I'm going to call it a beat because a lot of trout waters do divide into beats, like salmon beats, sections of the river. Each section can be called a beat. I don't think they are here. It's just one stretch, but I'm calling it, you know, the bottom end and the top end. Fantastic fishing down there. I've now had some lunch and I'm going to start on the upstream bit now, see what's up here. I don't think I'm going to take any more of those big rainbows. And apparently more browns up here as well. But totally different type of vegetation. Down there it's nice mown lawns up to the edge of the river. Here it's beautiful. I can feel actually the damp in the air, and there is a lot of vegetation, beautiful flowers, very scenic spot. The water is painfully tap water clear here. I've no idea how I'll get on at the top end. I'm going to be using the same fly if I can find it there. You can just see it, guys. Can you just see it in the ring there? It's a very, very small gold-haired damsel that's doing the damage, which has kind of surprised me because that gold head's quite bright in clear water. But hey ho, if that's what they want, that's what they want. If you think I'm changing it, think again. As my granddad used to say, if it's not broken, why fix it? Come on, let's check this section out. And let's check out beautiful flora and fauna, I think is a polite word for it. Well, guys, I've got a really beautiful brownie on this time. Do you know what? I did a bad cast. I didn't even see the fish take. It just pulled the line out my fingers. This one I think is another wild one. Beautiful looking fish. Let's hope I get out to show you. Oh, got it. The dots on this one are amazing. Just look at this fish. Long, lean, and that one will have been stocked in the river. But just look, if I bring him up at the dots on that one, that is a super looking fish with a full tail there. Am I happy with that one? What would you say, people? That is a beauty. One of the ways to get these trout in a river when it's hard like this is to use what's called the induced take. You cast in front of the fish, you let the fly sink, and just as it gets about a foot or two in front of the fish, you just draw it faster than the pace of the current, so it makes it rise, it makes it look lifelike, so it's struggling up towards the surface. Therefore, to the trout, nothing looks untoward, does it? That's when you're going to watch the fish, you're going to see his reaction, and you should be able to see him turn downstream, close his mouth on the fly, or you might just see a white flash like this, and that's the time to lift into it. Don't break them off, just lift into the fish. You should get them most of the time. The stretch upstream is just as clear, and there's a lot of boards being laid down. The fishery people have done a lot of work there, just even getting you access along the side of the bank, and it's up towards where the spring rises. It's obviously pretty boggy, but you can still get in there and throw a fly line. You need to be very careful on your back cast, and your placement of where the fly goes is all short, accurate casting, but if you can get it right, you can very often pay off dividends in the shape of a trout. Just always watch your back cast. You don't want to go up the bushes. You do want to get your fly in the water with a minimum of disturbance. And if you do use stealth and care, you'll see fish lying just near weed beds and in deeper spots, and then get a fish and you're going to get the hookup hopefully. listen, even though you get a great fight, you've got to be aware all that activity, all that crashing around as the fish is fighting in the water, that is going to kill the fishing in that particular pool for possibly half an hour, if not the rest of the day. But I mean, is it worth it or not? Beautiful, beautiful brown trout. That is the culmination of concentrated, I'm going to call it target fishing with small nymphs in small streams. I mean, it's almost like a leopard. All those dots and spots on it. You can just see that little goldhead damsel fly just in the top lip there, and he absolutely raced downstream to get it. And don't forget, some of those wild brownies are really small, tiny fish, but they are just a devil to get them to take the fly. Small little fish like this, for some reason, they seem ultra wary. I don't know whether it's because the predation is via, say, otters and herons there. You'd think the older the fish, the more nervous it would be, but it seems to be these small fish are ultra careful and spooky. And that's why I put them back, because they create a challenge for me to go and catch them again, hopefully when they're a bit bigger. Guys, we've got another really big fish. Time to call it a day, I think. Unbelievable fish in here, this little stream. Very hard upstream, been upstream. There's some salmon swimming about down the bottom end. What a fish! What a rod! Trout on a 4-weight, I mean, it's the way to go. He's off downstream, guys. Every chance his hook will shake out. That's about 6 pounds. Covered in grass cuttings, so just mow the lawn. Check that rainbow trout out, guys. Small stream fishing, totally awesome. What a day. I'm just going to finish off with a few casts on Spring Lake here. It's just one of the several lakes that they got for fly fishing here, and just see if I can push the luck a little bit farther. And with the fishing in the lakes, you can generally, given good light conditions, see the fish swimming around in the water. You can spot the individual trout you want to cast your fly to. That really does make it exciting, because very often you'll see a bigger fish swimming in close. Don't think they're all out deep, because they're not. Well, there we go, guys, what a way to finish. Really nice rainbow trout. I'll get him on the bank and then we'll show it to you. Oh, there we go, people. Nice fish. I guess he's close to 4.5, 5 pounds, somewhere around about there. And that one took a white chomper. Literally get sort of last cast of the day as I'm working my way around the lake. What a day's fishing. Well, there you go. The fish have to win sometimes, don't they? Great day's fishing, great day's sport. Rockbourne trout fishery on the Sweatford water and on the lakes. Give it a go.